Well, welcome everybody to the right place where we should be with all these great governors. Vince and I were just trying to figure out where we're going to put our picture, so that's why we're here today. But it's a great privilege for me and daily for me to be able to, and have Heather, my wife, to be able to be on a team with such a fantastic family, an intelligent and brilliant person as Vince Rampton. Every day I gain more and more respect of who he is, what he stands for, and most important, what a great partner. And together, we're going to make a big difference in this state. So it's my great honor, and what a great day for me to introduce our next Lieutenant Governor, Vince Rampton.
Thank you. This is going to be quick. It's going to be real quick because I just dropped the microphone. There we go. Since the office of Lieutenant Governor was created by a constitutional amendment in 1975, its responsibilities have expanded significantly beyond those of the old Secretary of State, which is what the office used to be. One of the most important aspects of the office is to serve at the pleasure and direction of the governor. And that is a daunting prospect because I will have the privilege of serving at the side of a remarkable, powerful, strong, tough visionary with a granite moral center, and that's a tough act to live up to. I'm looking forward to that opportunity. And so first and foremost, my opportunity will be to accept assignments and responsibilities from him. But I wanted to take a minute today and talk about a few other things that are of interest to me in the office of Lieutenant Governor that I think should be looked at. And this will be quite brief, but it will give you a flavor for the direction I'm thinking. First of all, the Lieutenant Governor is the chief election official for the state of Utah. He is the watchdog for all election activities that go on in the state. The buck stops with his or her office. I apologize. That means assuring full, fair, transparent elections. And part of that process is the election finance reporting process. I would like to see, as Lieutenant Governor, an increased and renewed effort at monitoring campaign financing and spending in the state of Utah. It's important that there be a level playing field. It's also important that the rules be clearly spelled out. Regulations can be passed and should be passed under the Administrative Procedures Act to spell out with great clarity what is expected. We then should initiate, a spot random audit program so that everyone understands that they're being watched and that everyone is on the same page. I would like to see legislation that evens the balance between campaign finance reporting requirements for personal campaign finance committees and political action committees on the other side. They're not the same. They should be equivalent and they need to be monitored. Full, fair, clear, and honest. Another area I would like to see examined more fully and carefully is the area of lobbying monitoring. Lobbyists get something of a bad name in the state of Utah, and that's unfortunate because lobbyists perform a very valuable function. They are there to inform and educate the lawmakers, and that's critical. But they need to be monitored so that there is no crossing over a line of propriety. State law in this area is spare, to say the least. The Lieutenant Governor's office has specific rulemaking power to monitor lobbying activities. The rules that have been enacted and implemented are helpful. I think they can go further. I think this is a process that needs to be carefully examined. Lobbyists have greater liberty on Capitol Hill in the state of Utah than they do in most other states of the Union. Once again, the Lieutenant Governor's office is the watchdog, and that needs to be taken very seriously. In a related area, and I apologize if this gets soapboxy, but this relates back to a matter I've been dealing with in my law practice, is the matter of initiative and referendum rights of the people. There are two ways that laws are made in the state of Utah, by the legislature and by the people. And that is set out side by side in Article 6 of our Constitution. The power of initiative and referendum reserved to the people is to be cherished. The courts repeatedly say that it is a sacrosanct right, equivalent to the voter franchise itself. And yet laws and decisions that have come out of the state legislature and Lieutenant Governor's office in recent months and years have placed obstacle after obstacle in the way of that process being utilized correctly and adequately. We need to be focusing on ways to make it more accessible, more manageable, and more useful to the people of the state of Utah so that they can have their voice and people legislate directly. What other areas? I would like to see the Utah Commission on Volunteers, which is under the Office of the Lieutenant Governor, expand its approach to professionals. In the legal profession, we talk about pro bono publico work for the benefit of the public. I would like to see healthcare professionals, counselors, rape crisis centers assisted by the state of Utah and by the Lieutenant Governor's office in their efforts to furnish volunteer service to the communities that they live in. I can go on for a very long time, and you're very patient to listen to me for this long already. I'm excited to be part of this administration. I'm going to be going in a minute, filling out the form, putting in my declaration of candidacy for Lieutenant Governor of the state of Utah. I'm excited to be with Peter Cooke and looking forward to the next few months and the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Do you have vice license form?
I know you told me before you have great respect and admiration for the Lieutenant Governor.
Yes.
But what do you feel he could be doing differently in the way of what you're doing?
Well, in the context of the things I was talking about, I would like to see Greg Bell implement, and actually I would not, I would like to see myself implement, come November or come January, a more precise series of requirements for lobbyists, a more precise series of requirements for campaign finance reporting, and a more precise and facilitative effort for rules governing initiative and referendum. Those are kind of the election-related items that I'm concerned about. In recent months and years, there have been back and forth with groups trying to get initiatives pushed through. One of them is in litigation right now. In fact, I believe it's being argued this morning before 3rd District Court as to whether an e-signature can be accepted on a petition. Well, if you go with a statewide petition for an initiative or a referendum, you've got to have an awful lot of signatures. And you have to go out and get each one of them on a single sheet of paper, hard copy, back in, certified. It's almost unmanageable and prohibitively expensive. That's a good way to make sure that the legislature is alone in its lawmaking activity. People can't speak. I think that needs to be changed and addressed. Now, in fairness, there is a law right now that an examination is underway for e-signatures and petitions for initiative and referendum. That doesn't even come up for final analysis until September of 2013. E-signatures have been used elsewhere in state government for petitions for years. I think it's something that could be dealt with very summarily to make this process easier and more accessible. That would be my best answer as I stand here.
What do you think you bring to the ticket?
What do I bring to the ticket? A real dry mouth right now. I hope I bring a number of years' experience practicing in various areas of law that impact state government. It would be exciting to be on the other side of that. I've been a representative of private employers, not private employees, public employees, who have found themselves crosswise with their state or local employers. I have great empathy for the people who try to do their best for the state of Utah, and for whatever reason, internal politics or whatever, they get a bad shake. I'd like to see that cleared up and made more transparent. So I have that voice that I can bring. I have experience in the area of environmental controls and environmental reform, and I'm excited to see what we can do in that area. It's a challenging one, as I talked briefly to Ron Decker about yesterday, to find a proper balance between energy development, which is strong in this state and a big part of our economy, and preservation of the environment. We've got a situation on our hands right now. The American Lung Association called us, what, 7th worst in the nation along the Wasatch Front for short-term particulates in the air. And yet we've got applications going for larger and more powerful and more polluting power plants. And it's a concern, but at the same time, we've got to preserve our economy. We've got to preserve our jobs. There's a balancing act, and clean coal may be the answer, oil shale may be the answer, but I'm excited to get involved with that. It's a matter of which I'm interested. That's a very long answer to a very short question, but thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Great job.